I'm Sir Flowbojan Thunderhammer.
And I'm Teflon Frosthammer.
And I'm Cabbage Tide Hammer.
And none of those dildos are going to be here. Hi, this is Baronet Vidalia.
This is Lord Quan Quarrel.
And this is WAP. That's Women, Amtgard, and People.
If Amtgard knighthood means anything, you can't knife a motherfucker and keep it.
And the thing that people need to understand essentially about arts and sciences events is that your scores don't matter.
Do you want a black phoenix or a white phoenix?
Jeez, language, man. We're on a
nice.
freaking podcast, for fuck's sake.
Mind-blowing experience, right?
Tonight we have with us Admiral Anne Cash from the Kingdom of Nine Blades. She's known for her foundational work with the Kingdom status, her great performance art, and hosting a plethora of educational classes. Say hi, Admiral.
Hi, Admiral.
It's great to have you on. So we open up the same way with all of our guests, and that is to have you tell us how you got into Amtgard.
Yeah, oh gosh. Was it 15 years ago now at this point? I was in university, and I was in a band. I was a first chair bass clarinet, and the sheriff of my park was last chair third clarinet, which put us right next to each other. And in between a random song, we just started talking, and he knew that I was a fencer and very much into theater and all of that. And basically he told me that there was something I really needed to try, and to show up at this random place on campus at midnight on Thursday.
At midnight?
And, midnight.
Oh,
Our park fielded at midnight on Thursdays. So super sketchy. It sounded really concerning, and for some reason I showed up. At that point, I ended up seeing somebody from my high school from a whole bunch of years previous, and we had nicknames for each other because we were in a show, and I just walked onto field, and she was like Horatio, and I was like Archie, and we hugged, and I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. So what was it? I'm still caught on the midnight thing. What was it like meeting at midnight? What did you guys do?
Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. So the university I went to basically looked like Hogwarts, and it had really good lighting. So it was actually pretty easy to field at. And there's other locations that we would do quests and things like that. We'd have full reign of the campus at that time at night. And it became like this sort of myth that there were people hitting each other in costumes at midnight, and that's how a lot of our recruitment went, with just like, is this really true? Is this a thing? There's no way that's actually real, and people would sneak out of their dorms at midnight to see, and there we'd be, being absolute ridiculous nerds, and yeah, that's how we ended up getting a lot of our recruitment and then retention.
That's fantastic. It's like the fish flies at night. You're a secret society meeting to whack each other. It's fine.
That's really cool, actually.
It's fantastic.
So I can, well, I haven't played Amtgard at midnight aside from Midnight Ironmans, but what I'm imagining is like, did you go into the buildings to do questing, or was it only outside? Because when I went...
Oh, no, we were just outside.
Okay.
Yeah,
when I went to college, we also had free reign of, like, the buildings. I mean, I guess being an art major, you would
I'm
go in all parts
right now,
of night.
I'm shocked because my college experience was not like that. At about 8 o'clock, the doors locked, and you were only allowed in the buildings if your ID registered as somebody who was allowed to be in that building after hours.
No, the art buildings were totally unlocked, and just like random people could walk into them at all hours of the night. So
yeah,
that's how the music building was for me, because I was a music major, and yeah, we could just go any room we wanted to at any time because we'd be rehearsing at all sorts of crazy hours.
I don't know that I've heard of. I played clarinet. Is that right? As a reason to play Amtgard before, like that's how you got in, right?
Yeah,
the bass clarinet was just like, just a step removed, just like even more ridiculous. But yeah,
who knew that band,
like almost as big as I am? Yeah,
Band is why you got into
Band.
Guard.
This one time at Amped Guard.
No. Those movies are bad and wrong. You don't put valve oil on a woodwind, and they piss me off every time.
So you
Oh,
mentioned
gosh.
fencing. Tell us more about that.
Oh gosh. So I live in Canada now, but I am originally from the States.
Mhm.
And at the time I was actually in Olympic training for fencing. I was 6th in the country for women's foil.
Oh, wow.
Shit, that's badass. Like,
Yeah.
I fought a little bit of epee in college, and I was shit. Like, absolute garbage. But it was so fun.
Yeah, I fenced all 3. But the farthest I got was in foil. And then I was switching to saber, and
God.
essentially I was in a car crash, and at that point I was unable to continue.
Oh, wow.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But Amped Guard.
But Amp Guard.
Did your fencing experience, does it help you with amp guard fighting at all?
Yes and no. It's very physically different in terms of like weight and I'm gonna say aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Like your grip, right? Because in like especially for something like foil, you have something called like a pistol grip. You hold it like you would hold a pistol.
Yep.
And it's very small and it fits in the palm of your hand. And you control basically the entire blade with just these couple of fingers, and you have full control. Amp Guard feels like you're whacking people with a giant bat in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it's not quite the same sort of physical mechanics, muscle memories wise and whatnot.
Yeah.
In grip and such. And then when it comes to like footwork, if I'm looking to just lunge at a guy and just stab him in the chest, then yeah, it comes in super handy. But sideways motion doesn't work terribly well for that sort of thing because fencing is a straight line. You're moving forward and you're backwards, and you're only fight 1% at a time, and you're never getting attacked from the sides, right?
Yeah.
So that is super, super different for Amp Guard. So in those things, not the greatest help. But if I'm doing like a tournament and I'm fighting one person and I'm controlling the line and the distance, I will usually go into my fencing stance, go into an on guard position and advance or retreat at them, and I will absolutely lunge. That is the thing. I do lunge a lot. I'm a very short individual. I'm 5'2.5". You can tell I'm short because I say "and a half" like it matters.
That's me too.
So a lot of times for me to be able to hit somebody, I do have to actually lunge to close that distance. And they're usually not expecting a very sudden, fast close of distance. So that is usually to my benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to tangent for a second. Quan, how tall are you?
I am 5'3" and 5/8". It's very important.
Okay, so
'Cause
5'2.5", 5'3", and 5'8".
I am 1/8 inch taller than my middle sister, so I need that 1/8 inch.
Fantastic.
I'm like 5'11".
Oh!
I slouch actually because
You're trying to mirror me.
yeah, I was walking through a crowd and Lexi was like, I didn't realize how tall Vidalia was until I saw her in a crowd and she was just like a head above everyone else. Short people.
It's fine.
Okay, so
I wear all the hats with the big plumes.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Do you wear heels at all? I mean, not for fighting, obviously, but
I wear boots, and the boot has probably a 2-inch heel. It's like somewhere around there, 1.5 to 2 inches. But yeah, and I do absolutely fight in those. I have fought in heels before, actually. there is a random video somewhere on YouTube of a monkey knife fight, and I'm wearing like boots with like 4-inch heels, and I won it.
See, I don't know that I can fathom having that power.
I need
Like,
us to go back and explain what a monkey knife fight is.
Oh,
I need an explanation because that's too
okay.
interesting of a name.
so it's a really ridiculous thing where there's two fighters. They both have daggers, and then they have something like a scarf or a rope that they hold onto.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of just pulling and trying to get them to come to you so you can hit them. It's a lot of trying to stay away and control their movement while you're both holding onto this rope or scarf or something.
We have
Yeah,
to bring
it's,
this to Winter's Edge.
yeah, we have to do it now.
Yep.
Nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah. Just nonsense.
That sounds like the wacky tournament thing that we were talking about with Sethriel.
Mm-hmm.
We could definitely have monkey knife fighting.
Yes, I need that to be
I
tournament
gotta
style.
say, blind monkey knife fighting is even worse, because it's that, but blindfolded.
How?
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like
Yep.
Bloody Nose Central.
Oh, it was a terrible idea. I do not know who created this, and I don't know why we did it, but yeah, it was terrible and amusing.
That sounds like a great way to get punched in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I've never actually seen someone get punched in the face, which is the weird thing you would think. I should preface this was also like 10 years ago, where we did all sorts of nonsense that I think we've at least wised up on in some places. I'd say, at least in some regards of Vanguard, we've improved our sense of safety in our game. I hope. So I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that done in about 10 years.
So,
Time to bring it back.
as someone who can't even walk in heels, how do you fight in them?
You got to stay on your toes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you literally just stays on the balls of your feet essentially.
Yeah.
Like for me, right, from coming from a fencing background, it's like when you're retreating, your heel on the front does touch the ground basically. You're pretty much just going off the ball of your foot. When you're going and attacking, however, that's when you're doing like a roll. But otherwise, your back foot is also on the ball of the foot. You never are flat-footed completely because it gives you a lot more spring, and you're able to move a lot quicker. So it's actually really important that you don't go down on your heels when you're fighting like that. So yeah, you just roll up.
Yeah. That's kind of how I fight in general because I walked on my toes for years and years and years, and then I also did Taekwondo. The reason that I don't still walk on my toes is because marching band. That really forced the toe walking out of me. But I
also experienced marching band.
Yep. But that means that I was great at backwards marching. Because you have to be on your toes to march backwards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, another thing, I ended up becoming the drum major. So
my
I
God,
had
that's
to wear
terrifying.
heels and I had to march backwards.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that probably is where I started to learn how to do that.
So
Doing
you've
marching
mentioned playing bass clarinet and now marching band, and I just went to your performance panel. Do you think all of those things tie together? How did you get into performance, and how does that affect you in Amtgard?
I got into performance. Basically, I want to say 5th grade. I saw Phantom of the Opera, and I don't know. I was just like amazed by just the sort of spectacle of it, and just the feeling and the energy. It was like an adrenaline rush, and I knew at that point that I wanted to be a part of that, just to experience that. And at that point, I started trying out for things, and that was when I got my first role, which was Annie, of all things. So after that, when I did the first solo for what was it, Tomorrow, it was the first time I had performed it in front of the cast, and there was just this moment of silence and then just an uproar of clapping, and there's just that heartbeat of like the silence that like they were shocked to hear what I sounded like. And I was just like, oh, was it bad? And then they just started clapping, and then it was just like, oh, okay, so this is good. And then from there, I just kept on going, and I ended up getting, training. I ended up going to a performing arts high school. And then I went to university as a music therapy major with a primary in voice and a secondary in bass clarinet and a minor in psychology.
Oh, nice. So do you do like voice therapy and stuff like that?
So again, this is the turning point in my history was the car crash.
Right.
So I wasn't able to pursue the career. I ended up with a spinal condition and fibromyalgia. So it was just a huge turning point in my life, where I basically had to redetermine what my life was. Coming at that point, I also did equestrian. I did like English. I was in Amp Guard. I was in university. I was in marching band. I did drum corps. I had this philosophy that I didn't burn the candle at each end so much as getting a blowtorch and going through the center because it was just more efficient.
Right.
I didn't have time off. Right. I was fencing. I was in musicals. I was just doing so much, and then the car crash happened, and it was just this giant halt of everything, and it became relearning how to live and how to find who I was, and taking apart all of those things and finding my place in Amp Guard was actually pretty crucial to that. I wasn't able to fight the same way that I did. I actually then became really devoted into archery at that point, and to the point of I'm now a Paragon archer, and then on top of that, that's also when I started really getting into the arts and sciences. That's when I really started getting deep into the dragon path and the garbing path. And I'm a Serpent Knight now, and through Master Dragon. And now a lot of what I do is teaching. I still do performing. I'm still able to do things like that. I've also learned different ways of fighting as well, and using things like battlefield psychology and positioning and teamwork, to where I'm also now a Paragon Anti-Paladin. Just being able to see things through a different lens and understanding how I can still perform things and still be able to do things even with the restrictions of my disabilities. So that's been a huge thing. And then on top of that, just being able to be a disability advocate in this game, and also to be available to others that have disabilities, to help them find their way of still being able to participate in this game.
Yeah, that was one of the things where I really got to know you more, was going to your neurodivergency in Amped Guard talk. And I thought you brought up a lot of great points. So feel free to use this platform to bring those up again.
Please.
Yeah. I think that's the weird thing for me is I do have a learning disability. So that's where my neurodivergency comes from. So this was, I was already dealing with disability things before the crash, right? So to have that type of disability and then to have a physical disability after that, right? It's kind of double duty, as it were. But with that, from that experience and sort of how I've learned how to adapt to life, that's also given me the ability to help others in their own personal struggles, especially for those that have have disabilities going into the game, going, where do I fit in? How can I do this? And knowing that there's a place for everyone, but also for those that also have those disabilities where it does come from accidents and things that are sudden later on in life, to know that there's still a way to participate in this game and to play, and just the different tips and tricks and techniques to be able to do so safely and still having fun and being fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So what are some ways that we can make Amtgard more accommodating to people who are either neurodivergent or differently abled physically?
I think communication and advocacy is a giant thing. Making sure that when folks do bring up concerns, especially if they are mobility based or if they are learning based, right? If they're having struggles with, reading a 72-page rule book, things like that, which can be quite a struggle for some. Finding ways that you can show them how to do things, and making sure that you are open and willing to find and make accommodations for folks. We do a lot of things up here where you have like non-fighting NPCs kind of things. You have battle games where you have a neutral individual where, like, for instance, if I'm having like a really bad pain day and I can't take a hit, my park would allow me to play a neutral archer during the game. So what would happen is I'd basically be a turret, and no one could attack me, but I would evenly place my shots where I would take a shot at this team, then I'd take a shot at this team. And it could also be used as a balancing mechanism. So if one team is just absolutely trouncing the other team, I can start legging folks. I can start picking off like key players that are really skewing the balance. But I can play around with the balance of it as I'm going, and I can just watch and observe and see where that needs to happen. But having just the openness to be willing to find a role like that for somebody that wants to participate, but is having struggles in some manner, just trying to be open-minded and work with the individual to figure out what they can and cannot do, and then finding where you can fit them in whatever the activity of the day is, so that they can be involved and be a part of the group.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I was interested in when you mentioned voice therapy, is I have verbal dyslexia. So I will misspeak all of the time. And it's where I take parts of words and mix them together, or I wholesale just like swap words in the sentence around, which makes spellcasting impossible for me in the game. But then it also does some really funny moments, like I'm in a D&D group, and my page Juniper is playing a character named Fizz, and in my brain I combined both of those words together, and I kept accidentally calling her Jizz the whole time.
Oh no.
So fun things like that. Do you have any tips or tricks that might help me maybe learn the heal incantation that I've been working on for a year and a half?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but if you've ever seen football, a lot of the quarterbacks will have a sleeve on that has a clear plastic kind of section in it here.
Okay.
You can wear those in Amtgard. You can get them at the dollar store, things that are like for sports, jogging and things like that, right? Where you put your iPhone in, or whatever device you have. You can use those on your arm and put your a cheat sheet in there, and you can literally have it on you. You can actually read spells right on you while you're casting, so you don't have to try to, from memory, try to be grabbing, so you don't have to try to just be like, oh gosh, what is it? What's the word? Oh, nope, I lost it, right? When you're dealing with adrenaline alone, right? And you're dealing with sensory overload, everyone's yelling, there's things being thrown, and you're getting hit, and everything's so chaotic around you. That alone is enough to trigger. Other things you could do is like lanyards, like, right? Things like this. Anything with a clear thing, right? It becomes waterproof as well, right? So you don't have to worry about your ink running and whatnot on your cheat sheets. I've seen other people also, for those that have like shields and whatnot,
on the back
do
of the
casting,
shield,
you can literally just like have a plate on there that has your spells just right on it, right? You can have like a plastic thing that you just like slide stuff in and out. That's also a way that you can do it, just having a cheat sheet on you. I would also say for specifically something like your case, right? A lot of these spells, folks know what they are. If you mix a word here or there, it's still very clear what that spell is. If you're still saying the words right, even if it is mixed up, right? Talking with your park officers and having that exemption, and so that you can have that accommodation if there's times where you do mix up those words, so long as you're getting the premise of it, you're getting as much as you can. What the spells are, the lengths of them, is really the time. It's the amount of time that it takes for you to start it and end it. And that's really the key of it. So if it's getting a little mixed up, right, if you have a specific disability where that's going to happen, there really isn't a reason why an officer shouldn't be able to give you that accommodation. Your field mates should be okay with understanding that that's an actual disability that needs an accommodation. You shouldn't have to be barred from participation for something that's simple. So it's again about making sure that the folks know that that's a concern, but also for them to accommodate and make that arrangement so that you can participate in that manner.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've just been rocking Barbarian for the past 2 years, so
that's an option too, right? When you do have struggles in specific classes that have specific things to it, the alternative to that is finding a class where your particular impediments are not preventing you from playing that class.
Yeah,
just kind of exploring stuff and finding what fits best for you and what you're most comfortable with.
I always joke that I can play Barbarian because I can count to 7. So
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's it. You're good.
that is it. So,
But like, I remember when I was first starting out, my park would allow us to like just kind of say words that would about be equivalent to the time that it would take to say that spell and be like, yeah, you cast that spell, good job. But like also,
yeah, it's those types of accommodations.
yeah, would you be able to get like a recorder and like label each of your spells that you're going to use and just be like, this one, and just have it say it out loud for you? Be like, you just got owned with some lightning, buddy.
I think it would be fun to like really flurb that up and be like a robot or whatever.
See,
I'm on a robot
Sort
kick.
of automaton.
I'm on a robot kick because Mystic Glade's founder was... I know, I'm about to go off on a tangent. Yep. Mystic Glade's founder was Snicker, Furfoot, and Calidor, and Snicker would dress up as a robot, and I just want to bring back robots to Amtgard.
That's not very medieval of you.
Okay, it is an ancient warrior automaton. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, Doctor Who.
Metal Golem. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I'm a metal golem. It's fine. See, what I was thinking, if you wanted to like flare it up, like you could put it into like this old looking spell book that has like a face on it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then it's like the book is saying the spell at you. Like, just an idea. But,
There's definitely a lot of cool ways to go about it. That's for sure.
I mean, as long as it's allowed in the rules. I'm not sure if recordings of you saying spells in a calm environment so that you can actually like read them off and get them off properly. Because if you have a Dick Reeve being like, nah, you said that word wrong, brah, try again, and you just wasted that spell, like, it's gonna be shit.
Yeah, like I've specifically heard people talking about like in order to be a Paragon spellcaster, you need to like have crisp, clear enunciation under duress, and you can't mix up your words, and you can't even like slur your speech a little bit as you're spellcasting. I'm like, I don't think that's how life works for most people, but you know,
You just have to go and get a bachelor's of fine arts in acting, obviously,
or
to be
communications. You could do communications.
You could do and in order to get any Paragon spellcaster, obviously, Vidalia. Geez, it's that easy. Just ask the Amp.
That easy. Just get a doctorate. It's fine.
Why don't you just get a postdoctorate? F it. Fuck. Work harder, Vidalia.
You're right. I'm just not trying hard enough.
You're just walk on that broken leg, Vidalia. You can do it.
Lock, you're not running? Come on now.
I'm sorry. I might have feelings right now.
I think most of us do about this particular issue. But yeah, one of the things that you were talking about with the 72-page rule book that I was interested in was you mentioned like working on an audiobook version of it. And I mean, we have podcasting equipment, so
Hey.
hey.
And plus, who wouldn't want to hear our lovely velvety voices?
Well,
for
I'm not
72
reading
pages.
it out loud, so
I'll do it. I volunteer. But like every third word's gonna be like Bilbo, no.
Bilbo the dog
Yes,
for reference.
that's my son.
Yeah, I'm it's something that I've been very passionate about for a very long time in creating, and it's there's a new rulebook set version that has been approved, but it hasn't come out yet, so I'm kind of just stuck waiting for that to be released for me to be able to actually do it, right? Because I can't do a recording of the current one because it's going to change.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no point in producing that and sending that out if it's going to immediately change any day now. So that's basically what I'm waiting on, is just the release of it. So as soon as that comes out, I can start getting that going. But that's definitely something that I very much want to do, and I'm hoping that can be done for V9 as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that idea. I was like, audiobook, rulebook, perfect.
Yeah. That'll be a really great tool. Is that the word that I'm looking for? A good tool.
Yeah. I think that it's also good because it's not just folks that have disabilities that can benefit from such a thing, right? There's lots of folks that don't have the time or energy to just sit down and read 72 pages, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right, we're on a podcast right now. Just being able to you're driving to work, you're going to the gym, you're just walking your dog, whatever the case might be. Just being able to put on a pair of headphones and just listen to the rule book is just is a lot far more accessible for just daily mundane life. To be able to learn the rules, and especially like also if you're running for office and things like that, where you have to take a Reeves test, even if you're not going out to play the game, right? There's a lot of respects where you have to end up learning and reading the rule book, and if the only way to do it is to read it right off the page, that's going to inhibit a lot of people from doing so. So I think it would be useful beyond disability as well. So
yeah,
hopefully one day it'll be released, and then I'll be able to actually to do the thing. But yeah, I'm hoping that can happen.
Then the spells will already be there, and you just have to get the clips of whoever's reading it with the spells and just make your spell list.
Yes, I won't even have to say it out loud.
You
other
don't
people
even have to use your own. It'll already be there. But man, I'm just imagining somebody being like, about to step on the treadmill, hitting play on their Amtgard rulebook and being like, yeah, these shield diameters really get me going here.
oh, what if I were a bard that had like a big boom box that I would just press play on for my
Yes!
spells.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Now I'm just imagining like dueling bards, but it's just like my voice reading the same spells at each other, so it just sounds like I'm just yelling at both of them.
Yes.
I'm not even there.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
It'll be good. See, you'll be at everybody's park then.
It's the secret plan. It's just like I'm just gonna invade every park just through the
Admiral
podcast
here
and-
trying to be the most famous person in Amtgard.
I'm everywhere now.
I could actually sign in at every park every week.
Oh my god.
I was there.
I was totally in Texas yesterday. That was fine.
I know for a fact I was playing Wizard in Texas yesterday.
Sorry, you must have heard me there.
I have this cool audio recording of me there casting spells. So
Yeah, did you not hear me there? Like, come on.
Yeah. It was really weird because I was also apparently on the other side of the country also saying those same spells at the same time.
It's crazy. Like, I was also
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. It's fine.
wizards have teleport.
It's
Yeah. It's magic. Jeez. Come on.
We play a
fine.
medieval
It's normal.
fantasy game. What part of fantasy don't you understand?
All right. So, aside from doing disability advocacy, you've also been hosting a wide range of classes online. Do you want to tell us about any of those?
Yeah. So I've started something called Admirals Academia. I do them bi-weekly now. So essentially what I do is I teach on all sorts of Amtgard topics, and it's live streamed on Twitch, and then it's uploaded to YouTube after. So folks are able to watch them live and to interact, and they can ask me questions throughout. But also for those that aren't able to see it at the time, they can watch it at a different time at their leisure. And they're really in-depth classes. A lot of them are like 2-hour long lectures.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's just a lot of information there, and I'm really enjoying doing it. Teaching is always been a huge passion for me, and just like the main reason why I pursued knighthood as I did was to be able to better facilitate my ability to teach. So yeah, this has been a huge project for me, and is basically the pandemic was what was the final tipping scale for me to get into this in particular. Because I was always actually I was never great with doing things on camera before. I didn't really like my husband does a whole lot of streaming, and that just didn't. I didn't think I'd be able to do something like that. Just like not having an audience to talk to see their reactions, to see just like how I'm trained in teaching is being able to watch body language, and
Right.
so I can see when somebody's perhaps losing interest or not understanding something or getting anxious or fidgety. I'm able to essentially read the crowd and see if I need to go over things again, be more clear, or even just change the tempo and pacing of my voice to better facilitate attention spans and things like that. But doing it in this way is actually very nerve-wracking. It's very hard because I can't see my students as I'm teaching. So that was just like I was just so very off on that. I was just like, oh gosh, no, that seems so terrible. Especially somebody from like a performance background, who's
Right.
very much needs the audience reactions to know if I'm doing the right things. So I did a lot of my teaching in person, and then suddenly, the pandemic hits, and there was at the time I was autocrating Paragon Bootcamp, and that's when the pandemic hit, and at that point, all the other parks and kingdoms were just canceling outright their events, and knowing my husband knew how to stream, I went to him and I was like it was canceled literally. The facility shut down the week of the event.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was the week of when they were like, oh, okay, so this is a pandemic and everything has to shut down. And I dug in my heels and I'm like, I'm not canceling this. There's got to be a way to do this still. So I talked to my husband. I'm like, okay, list me all of the tech options, the programs that I can teach through. What can actually be done, and he ended up showing me a whole bunch of stuff, and I was picking and choose between different methods, and we found this essentially this really neat hack that he's able to create layouts for designs and things like that, and have it be a call on Discord, and then he takes that image and puts it onto Twitch. So everyone else is seeing it on Twitch and can have multiple instructors at the same time, but the call itself is being run on Discord. So that's how we did Paragon Bootcamp, and to my knowledge, that was the first online event in AmpGuard for like an actual parks event, not just like some random lecture or class or something like that. Yeah, it was like the Duchy of Linnegon's coronation event was fully online, and that was the first that had happened. So after that, everything moved online, and we started just increasing just different methods of doing so, and different formats and things that we could do online. And the Kingdom of Nine Blades has been super, super active from day one. We just made everything shift over, and now we do featured park nights for all of the parks. So we're actually on Discord Monday through Friday from 6 to 10. And then we have events on weekends. So for folks that teach classes or run panels, or for mid-reigns and coronations and things like that, that's what the weekends are for. But there are times where we're literally on there every single day.
That's pretty cool.
That's a lot of AmpGuard.
Yeah.
It's a lot of AmpGuard. It's a lot of AmpGuard, but it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's been a huge way for us to stay connected and motivated throughout this time.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've been able to reach a much wider audience because of that?
Oh gosh, yes. For sure. I've done like a lot of like private lessons and things like that throughout the years, but being able to teach such a wide range of individuals at the same time, and quite literally across AmpGuard is a pretty unique thing, and it's been this really fantastic experience. So yeah, I'm Paragon Bootcamp, I'm autocrating again this year, so that will be the 1 year mark of me moving and teaching online. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to hit that milestone for myself. Yeah.
Nice. I really love how much AmpGuard has picked up online. I've also been doing a large volume of classes, either like locally at Radiant Valley. I think we had 13 panels, something like that.
Don't ask me questions.
And then
I don't even go here.
I've done a couple Kingdom events. The issue that I'm having is I am a visual artist, and so I'm trying to instruct people on how to draw things, but I can't see their paper. So I just feel like I'm kind of drawing and then talking into the void.
That's a lecture.
hopefully they absorb something. But that's one of the things that I've really loved about AmpGuard, because I've always been how do I do this applique thing? And then I look at the calendar schedule, and I'm like, oh, Runa's having an applique class at this time, and then I just go and I'm learn how to applique on Thursday nights or whatever. And I feel like if we could just take make a Facebook group and just post the wealth of things that AmpGuard has made during the pandemic, just this huge outpouring of teaching and creating and all of that, and just show it to the world, that would be so cool to me.
See, at first I was like, Vidalia just wants an AmpGuard Trello board so that she can go to all the events, but no. AmpGuard wants to share. Vidalia wants to share the knowledge with the world over here.
I mean, I'm down for that.
we need an AmpGuard scrapbook, but it's all online.
I feel like we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll just put it together through Google Slides, and then everybody can just share it. It'll work.
It'd be so massive.
The longest slideshow.
You just like open the file and your computer would crash.
It's fine. There's only 500 links here to all of the videos that were taken from all of the classes this past year. It's fine. Don't think about it.
We do need an inter-kingdom calendar though, because I keep missing things.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to keep up? Because now everything's online. I can go to all the kingdom events.
That's true.
And then, like, I went to 3 this weekend, and
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. I feel like a bad AmpGuarder because I feel like I've just been ignoring everyone and haven't been to any actual.
I think that's also a valid response, though. Like,
I don't do online learning well. Like, I can't even do like school online. Like, I can't do it. I can't focus. It doesn't function with my brain. My brain can go crazy.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? I'm also running an offline credit program for my kingdom right now. So essentially, because we have so much Discord AmpGuard, we have all sorts of resources for folks to still be participating in AmpGuard online, but there are a lot of folks for whatever reason. Some of them being accessibility issues, where they are unable to do online AmpGuard, and so there's things you can do in the comfort of your own home that are still AmpGuard related that you can still participate in, so that you can still feel connected with the community and still feel that you are making progress and still being involved, even though you're not able to be online or you're not able to be at a park day, doing things like Pell work, doing things like crafting and even planning future events in battle games and quests and all sorts of things like that. There's definitely ways to still keep motivated and still keep improving and stay involved. Where, again, I actually I taught a class. I want to say this past month through Admirals Academia, of course, on online accessibility. And just like the different things for folks that are doing stuff online, to understand what are triggers and ways that moderators and admins and autocrats and officers can make sure that folks are able to participate and that it is accessible in those spaces. Because there's lots of times where there's things like feedback and echoes and background music or even just sound clicking of a keyboard. And there's tools for moderators to be able to essentially like force mute and things like that, server mute. In those moments, you can use push to talk, right, where you don't have the background noise always happening. There's lots of different techniques and different formats where folks can actually be able to participate and they're not inhibited by any sort of disability they might have.
I think my issue is mainly surrounding, like, in the beginning I had hope that we were going to start again soon, so I crafted like a madman and like made entirely new garb because like I really want that Paragon monk, so I finally made good monk garb. And then I went through the summer and I was busy with my job because I work as a raft guide in the summer. So I was incredibly busy because everybody went outdoors because they had to cancel all of their overseas trips or a lot of their even in-country trips. And so they're like, let's go to Gatlinburg because they've decided to open early because Tennessee is dumb. In case anybody didn't know, we're kind of dumb here.
Well, we were number one for a while, and by that I mean number one COVID cases worldwide.
Yep.
So.
Oh wow.
Yep. Yeah. So everybody piled into Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and then they saw the rafting, so they came to the tiny town of Hartford and came rafting with us, and we broke our record for number of people put down the Pigeon River daily. Which
During a global pandemic.
During a global pandemic, like, and my bosses were doing the best that they could. We had mandatory masks on the bus, but we couldn't have mandatory masks on the rafts because that's a really great way to drown. So we were doing the best that we could, and we were taking like 2 buses when we normally would have only taken 1, and it was pure madness. And so I was working crazy hours and just being so busy and so exhausted because raft guiding is hard. And then with my feet being wet all the time, they got diseased basically. So
what I'm hearing is burnout. You had burnout. Quan.
Mega burnout for life. And so then I see everybody like playing AmpGuard online, and then here in Tennessee and in Alabama and a couple of places they're playing in person, and I'm like over here like crying and like I'm never going to be able to go back to AmpGuard because I have asthma. So I can't until everybody's willing to get mostly vaccinated or wear masks while we're playing. I can't risk being around these crazy AmpGuarders that are out here without masks.
I'm vaccinated.
1C, hurry up. Yeah, I couldn't get into any of the trials because of asthma. They were only looking for healthy individuals in the vaccine trials.
See, Cabbage and I both got into the vaccine trials in September and October is when we had our first and second doses. So we've been inoculated since then.
Dang. I feel like I just went on a really bad tangent about my life, and I'm sorry.
It's okay,
for
Quan.
taking over there for a minute.
It's all good.
This is the Quan show now.
It's the pandemic. We're all lonely. We're all just out here trying to make a connection.
I just want to hug people again.
What it's about. I know, right? It's rough. It's a rough time.
It's like I'm so.
I think the biggest.
Starved.
Yeah.
Like
I think the biggest thing is like I have asthma too, so I totally know how you feel there. I think the biggest thing to understand is that this is not the new normal, and that this is not going to last forever. It's a moment in time, and all moments pass. So I think it's important to kind of live in the moment, figure out what you can handle day to day. Not looking too far out and worrying about, oh, I'm going to miss this later on. I'm going to miss this. Oh, by this, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss this. Just literally just go day by day and make like a checklist for yourself and seeing like what you want to accomplish in a single day, and not worry about any sort of future things, the weeks and months and things like that. And just kind of again, just like understand that it's not always going to be this way. And once we get there, we're not going to even like be fazed by the memory of this. I always go over this thing where imagine like the sickest you've ever been, the last time you had a stomach flu. And in that moment, you feel that it's going to last forever, and that it's going to be so long being in that horrible existing moment. But then it passes. And looking back, how often do you think of the last time you had the flu? How many times do you just stop everything and ruminate on the last time you had the flu and what that felt like? I think this time, just like any other trial and tribulation you go through in your life, is a moment, and just focusing on time itself passing, knowing that we're going to get through this, and then it's going to be a memory. There's going to be things that will impact us, absolutely, for those of us that have lost friends and loved ones, for sure. That will always be a mark and something that will stay with you. But if you are so fortunate to make it out the other side of this, being able to move on with your life and look forward to the things that come in the future, and not to hold on to the past and the negative aspects of this time.
Yeah.
Thank you for the free pandemic therapy.
Anytime, I'm here.
putting that psychology major to good use. So.
Welcome to the WAP Therapy Hour. We're your hosts.
I'm so sorry, it just happens.
It's fine. I've never done that before. I also have a psychology degree. I don't know.
Art. I went to college for art.
Yeah.
I draw real pretty pictures, guys.
Yep. I've got a double major biopsych.
Oh, nice.
And
Brutal.
Yeah. No, it was funny.
Oh gosh.
It's so hysterical because all the psych majors were like, "How do you do biology?" And I'm like, "It's really easy. I don't know what's wrong with you." And half the biology majors are, "How are you doing psychology?" I'm like, "It's really easy. I don't know what's wrong with you." I don't know why my brain works for biology and psychology, but it does. I got lucky.
Really awesome.
It's really lucky that I have a brain that functions most of the time. Anyways, Amtgard. Let's get out of the therapy.
We'll circle back around to Amtgard.
I'll
We've
stop
got
talking
time.
about myself now. I just want to be impressive too.
So, speaking of the pandemic, we'll just stay on that. Actually, we'll look beyond it. What are some things that you're looking forward to when parks can safely reopen again?
I miss battle gaming. I miss questing. I'm a gigantic flurb. I'm really fortunate that my kingdom runs quests every Thursday. So that's been amazing to be able to still roleplay. But there's definitely something missing from the physical attributes to roleplay, being able to just dress up your character and walk around and physically do actions. I miss that terribly. So very much that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to eventing again. Just those big gigantic events where you watch the sunrise together. You're doing bardics at the campfire till the sun rises, and very next day you're out battle gaming again, right? Just being able to be in that atmosphere around your friends and the family you chose, right?
Right.
I miss it a lot.
So that's one of the things for me that I haven't gotten to experience yet. It's like a real fireside bardic. My first bardic was online. It was actually at Nine Blades.
Hey.
Yeah. And so they had like this atmosphere going where they made it like seem fireside or whatever. And it was so cool to like watch all of those performances through Discord. But I'm a little baby. I've only been playing Amtgard for 2 years, and one of those years has been a global pandemic.
Oh no!
Did I not make you go to the Bardic at Symposium to sing Disney with me?
No, I didn't. I didn't go.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. We were beating each other with sticks, and I'm a stick jock.
I like beating people. Barbar. Okay.
We're from Radiant Valley. We hit people with sticks.
But come on, Vidalia. Getting drunk off your fucking ass and singing Disney as loud as you can so you don't have a voice the next day. It's the best part of Amtgard.
I have a confession to make.
Really.
I have a confession to make.
I'm worried.
I don't like Disney. I know. I'm sorry.
You've broken my heart. I don't know if we can do this anymore, Vidalia.
Well, it's nice meeting you. Goodbye. No.
I'm sorry.
All right,
but
podcast over.
And that's when we called it quits. Like
Friendship over.
Like, geez, Vidalia, I'm sad. Look, I'm about to book a tattoo for a Disney tattoo. Well, it's gonna be a Disney Spirited Away crossover.
It's not like I hate Disney. Like I don't despise it or anything. It's just I also don't like musicals. My page is so disappointed in me. Cabbage loves musicals. He like can sing Hamilton in his sleep or something. And
well, I guess I'm gonna have to take Cabbage to the off-Broadway things that come to Knoxville.
No.
Vidalia, I'm not mad. I'm
just disappointed. I know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
You can call me Dad if you want to.
But I liked Bardics, and those were musical in nature.
All right, I'm bringing my trumpet next time we're doing this.
No, I don't like musicals. okay, so I listen to metal. I like death growling and being angry. But
I like
so
to be
like
angry.
I was surprised listening to the Bardic because my fiddles dragged me to the Bardics. And so I didn't think I would like it. And I showed up and I really, really, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to having them like in person where I can sing along. I got to learn a song.
And now I'm surprised Fiddles didn't drag you to the arts and science. Because that's normally how I find out that the Bardic has started. Because Fiddles is in the feast hall going, Quan the Bardic, and drags me outside. And I'm like, okay, we're singing the old dun cow again. Here we go.
Yeah, there's really nothing that compares to just like the in-person one around a roaring fire in the middle of the night.
And going...
Right? Just nothing but the stars to light, it's pretty...
And the
It's a pretty drastic difference.
Gotsy Bardics are amazing.
I don't know any drinking songs or sea shanties, or I don't know any of that. You'll have to teach me.
Okay. There is one that I've been wanting to do anyway, so we'll just learn it together. It'll be fine.
Do you have any recommendations for songs to learn?
Oh gosh. Sea shanties are always good. Like they're all good. I love sea shanties. I actually did a
Admiral,
university
right?
paper on I mean like I think I'm contractually obligated to like sea shanties. But yeah, I did a whole paper on sea shanties and folksal songs. So yeah, that's always been a big thing for me. They're easy to sing. And a lot of people know them, so generally speaking, they're a pretty good one to get just get associated with, kind of the feel of them. I'll be back.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's a good warm up, a good getting into that whole bardic scene.
Yeah. So I've been working on bardics, but I can't sing. I can death growl, but doing that, what is it where you don't have accompaniment? Acapella. Death growling acapella is not. It's not aesthetic. So
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. So what I've been doing instead is I'm working on a stand-up comedy routine. That's all like Amtgard themes. And one of the things that we do at my home park, Radiant Valley, is like we're all, I would describe our relationship as like mean older brother. So we're all like making fun of each other, but if anyone like shit talks my little brother, like they're gonna get it, right? Like that's our relationship, I would say. So like we dunk on each other all the time, but no one dunks on my little brother over there, right? And so my stand-up routine is I'm gonna teach people like how to insult their friends correctly. And so like I have little roasts for all of the like Winter's Edge nights and stuff like that. That's what I'm doing instead of singing. So I'm going to take a dagger.
That's fantastic, actually.
I'm going to take a dagger and like pretend it's a microphone.
Oh my gosh.
Do that thing on stage where I'm like, hey, Winter's Edge, what a wonderful kingdom, what a wonderful kingdom. Like
I just so good. Yes. Yes, I wholeheartedly support this.
Do the I just flew in from Knoxville and man, are my arms tired.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen like lots of bardics performances that are like reading poetry or doing singing, and I can't do either of those. So.
We're just gonna get you a forensics class.
I thought about because I used to work in a lab doing like analysis on stuff, and we would do these lead tests, and you would add different chemicals to the water to get your final product, and like as you would shake it, it would change colors. So like walking people through the different steps, like a little alchemy thing. Put the science back in A&S, but
yes. Oh, That would be so cool, especially around like a real fire bardic doing the different chemicals that change the fire colors.
The problem is it involves chloroform, which I could not bring to an event site. So.
As long
Probably.
as you hide it. Nobody has to know that you have
Or we
chloroform.
can't have
It's my fault, I'm sorry.
So I know you do lots of performances. Tell me about those. Paint a word
gosh.
picture for me.
Do you still get the jitters?
Who has never been to an in-person
Oh
bardic?
gosh. So jitters, yes. Yeah, no, I always get those butterflies. But going to the scientific thing of it, what it is it's adrenaline. A lot of folks tend to not quite understand the physical reaction that your body has to that sort of stimulus. So what folks are experiencing is adrenaline. It's the thing that's going to make you start breathing faster. Your heart's going to be pumping faster. You might start shaking, right? You might get so overwhelmed that you're rocking, that you're breathing heavy, you're rushing your words, right? Everything's just going. But what it is it's an adrenaline rush. So side tip on that, you can trigger it ahead of time, so that your body gets used to the feeling, so that it's not just hitting you when you walk out onto stage, or in front of the judges, or what the case might be. So you can actually trigger the adrenaline beforehand, so that you have time to adjust. So there's different like physical ways that you can do that. What I like to do myself is I go open palm and I will hit this part of my chest here, right? Or I'll hit the side of my thigh, and just kind of shake it out, bounce a bit, run a bit. But yeah, just even so much as just hitting it will sort of trigger that adrenaline to start going, and it just, you give yourself time to just adjust, and when it feels like, okay, this feels like a normal thing, then you go out and you don't have that sort of that kind of fear response that folks kind of equate that to.
One of the tips that I've heard about, this was given to me about like professional athletes, performance anxiety and stuff like that, was you can take your you tense up everything, right? And you like hold your breath for a few seconds, and you take your thumb and you squeeze it really hard. And then as you let go of your thumb, you relax everything. And you don't do this like before you go on stage. You like do this for weeks coming up to the event, right? And then you eventually Pavlov yourself basically into, as you let go of that thumb and relax, you like naturally relax, and it calms down your anxiety or whatever, as a way to like manage performance anxiety or even like anxiety attacks in general. You can kind of just like train yourself to have that physical stimulus and then relax. That's one of the tips.
Definitely,
I've heard.
there's a million ways you can do it. It's very much personal preference, what works best for you, for sure.
I personally love the idea of messing with my lizard brain.
Yeah. And then what I've also heard is that, especially in people who are neurodivergent and they stim or rock back and forth or whatever, that's a way of like self-regulating that adrenal system. And so what I've even told my friends who aren't neurodivergent and they're like having anxiety or whatever, is that like you can jump it out and like shake it out and stuff, like how you see people stim. And that helps regulate your adrenal system. So that's one of the things that you can do as well.
For sure. I didn't actually answer your question. Sorry. So the types of performances that I tend to do, I do like musicals. I do personally like musicals.
I'm sorry, I've wounded you, I know.
You've wounded us all.
No. I really like to do things that are character driven, that you can really just like dive into. I do a lot of Shakespeare stuff. I do musical theater. I do very classical operatic things even. I'm just sort of all over the place with stuff. But I also do a lot of acting things. I've run a lot of like commedia dell'arte shows, things like that. So it's my history is mostly just doing essentially small productions, where they can be done for like feast entertainment and things like that, as well as I'm very heavy into the competition scene, so I do performances for bardic competitions as well. Yeah, the most like over the top thing I ever did was condensing Into the Woods into a 10-minute show, where I played the witch. That was just like a whole 9 yards into a 10-minute production.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
That's insane and so terrifying. Did you just like super quickly sing the songs, or did you just condense the entire musical into like one song?
So basically the secret of Into the Woods is that there's a full complete show in the first act. You can literally stop at Act 1 and that's it. If you've ever heard of junior shows, it's where they'll have a musical and they will do a shortened down version of it for like middle schools and things like that, so they don't have to do a 3-act musical. So Into the Woods Junior is literally just the first act, and it's a full, complete thing. So basically what I did was I centered the story on the witch itself, so it was just her story. So I had the witch's rap that she does in the first act, which is like the introduction to her. And then I had some narration dialogue to fill in some holes, and then I did Stay With Me, which was the solo that she did with Rapunzel, and then finishing up with, again, narration to kind of fill in the blanks of the story, and doing like walk by things, like mimicking things as the narration is going, sort of explaining. But yeah, I was able to condense like a whole story, start to finish in about a 10-minute block.
That's awesome.
Like probably 10-15 minutes, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
And amazing. You said that you do entertainment at Feast. Is that like a common tradition for your now kingdom? Or because we don't...
No. So I was... Nine Blades used to be the Northern Empire, and the Northern Empire used to be in the Kingdom of Goldenvale. So when I was big into doing these feast productions, it was for the Kingdom of Goldenvale. But with the Kingdom of the Nine Blades members going to those things. So basically, it would be like really big events like Great Eastern and Fury and things like that. I would work with the autocrat and basically request a block of time, and I would basically, again, you have your 10 to 15 minute shows essentially that you can do in small blocks, like 20 minutes tops, I want to say, but like just a small condensed block, you have a full show, and just so it's long enough that it's entertaining, fills time, but isn't too long, and it doesn't lose interest and doesn't impede court and things like that. It basically is it's a good amount of chunk where it's feasting entertainment. It's stuff that folks can watch and be entertained by while they're eating, so that there isn't that weird silence while everyone's putting food in their mouth and whatnot, right?
See, that seems way better than what Winter's Edge does during Feast.
What do we do during Feast? We just eat, right?
Because during Feast, it seems like everybody's trying to play the assassin game and kill the crown, which means that the crown has a lot of trouble eating.
So do you remember our last episode with Arco and Fiddles? and they were talking about how Arco accidentally saved Fiddles from being poisoned by eating the vegetable plate.
Yeah.
Anyway, I tried to poison Cabbage at our last event, online event, obviously, and I had set up like a little snack tray for him for coronation, and like I had a wine bottle that was filled with flavored water because he doesn't drink wine, rather, and it underneath was like masking tape, and it said poison on the bottom, and that way when he lifted it up to drink on camera, it would clearly say poison to the event people watching. But then last minute he was like, oh, I'm gonna have coronation at Flo's so we can use our podcasting equipment and stuff like that, and I was like, no. And so then I called Teflon, and I'm like, Teflon, you have to poison Cabbage. And he's like, what are you on about? And I'm like, you have to kill your brother. And so he was going to do it.
Shakespearean thing. Kill your brother.
They're belt brothers. Teflon is a squire and Cabbage is a man-at-arms in the same belt line, right?
I mean, and was Teffy regent at that point too? So like it would make sense him trying to poison the king to move up the ladder.
He it was at this last one, so he would have been coronated or whatever as our guildmaster
GMR,
Reeve.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was KPM, and so I was trying to poison the king, and it would be funny, haha. But my plans were foiled. Alas, I am a terrible villain. So
Oh no.
We'll work on it.
though at the mid-reign event, we have an assassin named Z, and our champion at that time was Heralder, and he was like, no one is going to kill anyone at this event because it's all online. At least the king is safe. And he didn't know that I was sitting like at my desk with an assassin hidden underneath my desk that I snuck into my house specifically to kill the king.
An assassin that is his girlfriend. Oh.
No, I mean, I didn't kill the king. I hired an assassin to kill the king. Totally different. So
What's the word? Oh.
I conspired.
No, I was trying to figure out the word that's like when you off put it onto like somebody else, like when we move jobs from this country.
Pass the buck?
Yeah, kind of. That's not the. I don't think that's the word.
Awesome.
Anyway, I have one last event where Cabbage is king, and I gotta plan something big. So
I want to help.
we gotta
Make sure you
figure
don't
out.
see this video though. This podcast.
What if I rig?
No, you're totally safe. You should totally just go about your day and drink and consume anything that happens to be
Here,
around
Cabbage
you.
had this
Fine.
totally
Well,
regular PBR. It's
I was
fine.
thinking about rigging some sort of like Rube Goldberg trap in his office where like I don't know, like I make a boulder on a string and it swings down when he opens the door and it kills him.
And it just drops a full bag of small throwies, light throwies.
Yeah,
We're
something
gonna
like
need
that.
to get Thunderbush in on this
Because
he's got like all those little throwies.
If you have any suggestions, please send them to wintersedgepm@gmail.com. So
You want to send it to the official PM Gmail?
yes.
Oh God, that's why I never want to be PM again. I don't
I
want to see
think
what
the
nonsense.
closest I ever got to nonsense with assassination stuff was the court guard was preventing everyone from bringing in weapons to the feasting area, and I was wearing a giant hoop skirt, and it was like a caged hoop skirt, so there's like lots of openings inside, and I tied a dagger inside of my hoop because I knew they weren't gonna search it.
Perfect.
And and they're just like, there was a moment where they're like, do you have something under there? Right? And I literally just like lifted up like probably a foot up. I'm like, do you see it? Like, are you gonna look? Like, what are you like?
Try to get in here or something? Get out of here.
Yeah, it's like,
Beat him off with
they're
a
like,
broom.
it's fine. Yeah, and then I ended up going to the kitchen. I removed it from my hoop and I hid it like in a cupboard. Yeah, just like then I could be like, just like, nope, I legitimately have nothing on me. It was just like,
Yep.
it was just getting it in was all I cared about. It was just because like, it was just like, just to see if I could. I didn't even murder anyone, but I just like wanted to know if I could actually sneak one in. Yeah.
Just have to know if I can do it.
Yeah.
Because you feel so powerful.
It was funny when I just like walked out with it, and they were like, "How did you like?"
I always try to help.
You didn't stop me. Wow, you're bad at your job, sir.
This is on you.
Yes, I can't be blamed. I was left unsupervised.
I just found it.
Right out of my skirt. Who knew? So big, catches things.
So if it's their job to find the weapons we're trying to sneak in, it's our job to sneak in the weapons, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next time we're just going to tape a bunch of daggers under all the tables.
See, what I was thinking is specifically at like the symposium site or whatever, you just put them, like tape them to the bathroom stall doors inside, and then you just...
Hopefully the future Crown Guard isn't listening to this. But if the future Crown Guard is the deadweights, we have nothing to worry about.
All right, so
there's nothing to be concerned with here. We're totally not plotting at all, and that will totally not happen. Wink, wink, wink.
You just have to make it really, really stupidly obvious if the deadweights are the next Crown Guard, because we will have to then RP like, nah, everything looks good there. Like it's taped obviously under your shirt sleeve. Like you just obviously
so
have a dagger.
like it says fine.
like
I didn't know that you guys were expecting. Yeah, we're totally expecting. It's a man, you know.
you have the little, like the small throwies lined up like abs underneath your shirt.
It's like you use like an entire roll of duct tape to tape a dagger onto your back, and you're just like trying to sneak around. Like, this is. I can't wait for feast.
So I feel like this is a good way to segue. Silly Antguard stories. Let's hear them.
Gosh. Silly Amgar stories.
We sprung it on her.
Where to go? Okay, so I was an NPC once where I was playing a kitsune, and all I was given as motivation and instruction in this quest was that if they asked for it, and they knew what to say, to hand over this, like, it was like an ice ball. It was just like a sock with a pool noodle in it. Just hand over this orb if they specifically ask you in this way. And otherwise be mischievous.
Okay.
That's all I got. So it's like 3-hour quest. That's all I had to go on. At some point, I will hand over this orb, and otherwise do whatever. So there was a point where this individual Elgin comes to me and demanding whatever information I have, and he specifically wanted to know a way to kill this giant lion creature. And I told him that there was a relic, and that he needed to go find the shiny shine that's shiny. And I pointed to the woods. I said, bring me back the shiny shine that's shiny. And he goes, and he gathers his mates, and he goes to the woods, and epically goes off into the woods. And I'm just like, there's nothing there. This was completely a red herring. That I like, even this orb thing is not gonna, like, that's not what it's for. It's not gonna do anything with this lion creature. And there was nothing in the woods. There was nothing there. So I just sent him to the woods for no reason. And then he comes back with this metallic silver deflated balloon. Oh, no. And he goes, "Is this the shiny shine that's shiny?" Yep. That's it. And he goes, "Come, mates, to the lion!" And epically goes to the lion, and goes before the lion, and goes, "Ha!" and raises this deflated balloon in front of the lion. The lion tilts his head and swings siege and murders him. And then I immediately jumped into camouflage, as he then very angrily came back to murder me.
That's a beautiful story.
That's fantastic. It does make me think of the first time that I went to Crystalline Chronicles CC, which was our kingdom's like open world roleplay typey event. And we were night questing, and there was lots of things in the woods. There was like little dungeons and all these little puzzles and coins and nonsense. But there was also these NPC fighters, and there was like a group of these 3 guys from the Seraphim, and they're supposed to be lizard people, and they have like these Dollar Tree like dinosaur hats on. And like you can hear them coming. Like I'm sneaking about in the woods because I didn't bring a light because I didn't realize I was supposed to bring a light with me. Because this was still within like my first 2 years of being in the game, and I'm still very new and trying my best. And I'm trying to sneak in the woods, and I just hear them being like, fuck, what sound does a lizard make? They're like, I don't know. And they just go, because they eventually heard me stomping around in the dark. So they're like, a player. And I'm like, I don't think that's the sound a lizard makes, guys. I was like, okay, I'm going to run away now. Bye, lizard people. I said out loud because I was like, I don't want to fight 3 guys in the dark right now.
That's fair. That's a big mood.
Yep. And I'm really bad at RP, guys. If Admirals Academia has a class on RP, I'm gonna have to go and find it because I'm so bad.
I do.
Perfect. Because I don't know anything like.
Well, the link will be in the description below, so
Perfect.
Feel free to check all of those out.
All of them.
Yes.
Do you have a
Much
story,
appreciated.
Vidalia?
Do I have a silly story about role playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I have gotten to be like an NPC monster thing one time. Because once again, I played for a year and then we went into pandemic. And I was Grilla. You were there when I was Grilla.
Was I?
Yeah, it was when I was like the frost troll who stole the children. And there was a deer, Bucky the deer.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't part of the quest, but there was a real deer
love
showed
Bucky.
up in the middle of our castle siege. And
And now he lives there.
yeah, now he lives there.
Yeah. He likes to watch us do the wax.
Okay, so to get completely off topic again, Sir Duffer, who builds castles in his backyard and lets us play there, like actual castles that with archery towers that you can stand in and
Yep.
stuff.
They're a little bit scary to stand in.
He's like a druid man, and he keeps
Yeah.
like he's got like piggies and goats. Anyway, and he tamed
Probably
a
a
wild
bird.
deer.
There's probably a bird in that beard somewhere, I bet you. That was a lot of bees, I'm sorry.
But yeah, so we did like a Christmas themed event, and I played Grilla, who is this frost troll in Icelandic folklore that steals children and eats them if they're naughty. Kind of like the female version of Krampus, basically. And she has sons that are the Yule lads, that are kind of like they're kind of like mischievous fey creatures that like prank people and stuff. They're named after things like Door Slammer or Spoon Licker. Like they just do weird pranks. And I was playing Grilla, and so I was dressed up in like this ice themed armor. And it was also my first time using magic ever, and I couldn't remember how to throw a spell ball, but it turned out fine. But so I kidnap all the children, and Sir Duffer has these big like metal cages that we put them in. Like real children, real metal cages, and
I almost made a really bad political joke. I'm sorry.
And then I was doing my best like Wicked Witch of the West voice and like taunting these children in the cages and like taking my dagger and like poking at them or whatever. And one of the little girls is like, Vidalia, you're being too scary and you have to stop. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll just play games then. And so like,
You made
I would
children cry.
yeah, I did make children cry. But like I would turn around and I would be like, let's play I Spy with the kids. And then when people would come up to my ice fortress, I'd be like, wah, I'm Gorilla. And like, so that's my funny role playing story because that's the only one I got. So
I'm sad. I think I was late to that event, so I think I missed all of that.
yeah, I think you did miss the actual like quest part. You just
Yeah.
did the battle game
I
stuff.
just did the battle game stuff and got scared on the archery tower using throwies.
Yeah, I thought your eyeball like popped out or something.
Oh yeah, no, that was always a fun time.
Quan got hit in the face with an arrow. You were fine though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I was
you just
fine.
got dirt in your eye.
It got dirt on my contact.
But
so
what
I had to take it out and like spit on it.
but what I heard
That's what
was
she said.
Quan is bleeding. Someone get
Oh,
water
no.
so we can wash out their eye. And so I sprint all the way from the castle to my car and like pull out like all of my crap that's in my car.
Yep.
And grab like my first aid kit in a water bottle and sprint all the way back to the event site. And like I get there and I'm like out of breath and I'm like, is Quan okay? Are they blind? And like they were fine and they were like, Fidelia, what is wrong with you? And I was like, someone said that Quan's eye was bleeding.
Oh gosh.
Nope. My face is just a magnet for things though. Like
Yeah, you get hit in the face with a lot of pole arms.
yeah, a lot of pole arms. I was knocked out
It's
by
our
a pole
height.
arm. Yep.
Ah, that makes so much
And
sense.
I got a black eye from an arrow at my first GOTC because it hit my sunglasses. So it gave me a black eye.
Ooh.
I was also used to wear a necklace when I fought, and it hit the necklace, so it bruised my chest too. These were some very not nice arrows, is what I've also decided, or maybe I'm just pale and bruise easily. I think.
Yeah,
it's,
no, I've
gonna-
been there. I've been there.
I'm gonna blame the arrows though.
Yeah, okay. So
Favorite
horror
Amtgard
stories.
bruises.
Oh god.
Oh god.
So I think my worst hits, one, I took a surprise frozen polearm to the groin and ended up having a hernia surgery because of it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, quite literally surprised. I was at my car pulling my gear out, and they went, surprise, and stabbed me.
Oh,
In the
no.
parking lot, we were not playing. They just were, like, pranking me.
Oh
and
my
just...
I bet they
Yeah,
felt so
that was-
bad.
Oh,
That
no.
sucks.
Yeah. Definitely we're not expecting to cause somebody to have surgery, so yeah, it's a bit of a thing. But I also didn't know at the time that it was a hernia. For some reason, like I didn't feel I didn't realize what was happening at the time. It was the next day that I was really feeling it, and I'm explaining like my symptoms to my mom. And she's had a million kidney stones, so she's like, "Oh, it's a kidney stone. That's a kidney stone," because of like the location and stuff. And so I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, what do I need to do for that? I just need to like drink a bunch and keep active and stuff." Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go to this fencing tournament then. And I went to a 12-hour fencing tournament with a hernia in my groin. Thinking that it's a kidney stone and that I'd be helping it by just doing this tournament. And I was in the hospital the next day.
Oh no.
So that's how I realized that had happened. So that was the thing.
That's crazy.
Other things have been arrow related. I was once in a company battle where it was militia, so there were bows, and somebody like full jaw point blanked me in the jaw and popped my jaw at the socket, and I like passed out. Like I just like it was like a glass jaw moment, and I just woke up on the ground, and then we couldn't get my jaw back in. So I had to go to the hospital for that. So that was fun. Yeah. And then the other one was an eye one. It was actually in the very beginning of my relationship with my husband. We were at Great Eastern at the time. We were still at the Pennsic site, so they had this big wooden castle, and our team was on the attack, so we had to get into the castle. But this thing is just like a facade. There's nothing around the sides. You can just walk in from the sides, and everyone's just trying to get through the center door where everyone's just getting stabbed with pole arms. And I'm like, I'm not going to go into that grinder. That's a terrible idea. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go around the side. If anyone wants to join me, cool. But for some reason, they didn't think that we would do that. For whatever reason.
Right.
So I came in through the side with this small army with me, and there was a guy that had a full pound recurve. He's got it at full draw, pointed at the door, and then he sees me and turns and lets go of it, and right in the eye. Those are point blank shots, and a hold is called. At this point, Wunjo is in the front offense. He said that he ran to the back, instinctively knowing it would be me. And it was. But yeah, there's a picture of it where I've got like an ice pack over my eye, and people are like holding my gear, and I'm just like, like thumbs up, just like, yeah, it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also like this really, I think the other weird eye story was there was somebody who had this great weapon, and it came to like a point at the top for some reason. Like one of the sides came to an angle. I don't know how it was legal, but it was there. And yeah, he just like murder strike and hit me in the face, in the eye, and then he just starts like apologizing, and I'm just like, hey man, it's okay, it's all good, right? Like this is a combat game. I'm like expecting to get random bad hits here and there. He's like, no, it wasn't an accident. It was instinct. And I was like,
What?
okay, yeah, maybe you should sit down. He's like, yeah. It's just like, I was just going like, oh no, man, it was an accident. It's all good. No worries. He's like, no, it was instinct. And I was like, oh God. In that case, yeah, maybe you should take a break.
Maybe think about.
Cool off there, buddy.
Take a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I think those are my random horror stories for bad hits.
Nice. Yeah, no, I definitely have gotten quite a few bruises, mainly from like cross gaming.
Yeah, dag weapons
people.
are dense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember like I think I was just coming back into fighting after my knee surgery, and there was this cross gamer there, and I was like, okay, I've got to prove I can take a hit again. But I didn't realize that he was a cross gamer, so I thought it was just Amp-Guard swords, but I was still going to take the hits. And then I got home that day and took off my shirt to jump in the shower, and like my entire side was purple, except for where my belt was at.
Oh no.
And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have taken those hits or fought somebody else.
Brutal.
I don't know if I have many injury stories. I got a concussion once. It's just an accident. I got punched in the face. Someone was using a dagger and like being really flirby and skipping around, and they went, Vidalia, behind you, and I turned as he was swinging, so I turned like point blank into his dagger as he punched the side of my face, and I got a concussion, but it wasn't that bad. It was just like a little mild one. That same player though passes out at our park, and you were talking about like funny injury photos or whatever. He's got a fainting disorder or something, and so he's passed out, and we're just like weekend at Bernie's, like holding his peace sign up as he's like full unconscious.
No.
We're not bad people, we swear.
Yeah, his parents, they're like, yeah, he's fine, he just passes out sometimes, and so and he's also an adult, and he's just like, I pass out sometimes, it's fine, I'll come back in like a few seconds. And so we just, peace.
All right.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, I also have been concussed in the game, but mine was the point of a recurve bow.
Oh no.
Yeah, it hit me in the temple.
Oh.
Yeah, I was fighting this other archer, and we ended up breaking each other's bows, and I tossed mine down, but he held on to his, and then we started just dueling, and in the flurry of hits, the bottom of his bow ended up getting whacked, so the top of it came and smacked me in the temple.
Oh no.
Yeah, then I just like have no memory from that point to me just being at my base. They said that I just very calmly and quietly just walked back, and just like, and I was just like there. I'm like, I don't know how I got here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, I have a really bad problem where anytime I feel like I'm going to pass out or I hit my head too hard or anything like that, my first impulse is not to sit down or like fetal position or reduce my fall at all. My first impulse is to stand up, just like immediately, just like whatever the worst response is. And so a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling dizzy. And then I just stand up and eat shit.
See, oftentimes my pain response is to get angry. And that's also not good. Because after I get hurt once, I'm like, I'm just going to beat everybody into the ground now. And then I'm like, wait, no. Back it up. Because all of them will beat you into the ground. Because you're way easier to beat into the ground than most of these people.
Oh, you're fine at fighting.
I don't know. I've still got to get a lot back after my knee surgery. And then the pandemic hit. And I need to make a pill.
It's just opening up.
I need to figure out how to get in, because I know how to get in for martial arts, but I don't know how to get in with swords. I'm bad at it.
Oh, like infighting?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm a great infighter with my feet, but with my hands, I know much less. So I'm going to have to work on that. Anyways.
Yeah, for those of us like with shorter stature, the one advantage that we have is infighting, right? A lot of folks that have much longer range than us, right? They're going to try to control distance and keep you at a point to where it's easy for them to take a hit, but you are just going to whiff underneath them, right?
Yeah.
So if you just do essentially a quick sprint in, you just basically, you push their weapon out and you move in, they have a hard time being able to, like, they'll be like squished in with their arms if they're trying to like infight you. They're probably going to try to like wrap around you.
Yeah.
But you'll have sort of an advantage with the infighting if you can get in tight, so where you have a good distance and control with your arms, and you can, block and strike at a distance that's comfortable for you. That's going to be uncomfortable for them, where they're going to be trying to squish in or trying to wrap around, because they're in a distance that all of a sudden is like really uncomfortable for them. So my advice for that is just get in close where it is uncomfortable for them and convenient for you.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand that theory, but I can't seem to do it.
Just be aggressive. Aggressive.
I don't know how to be aggressive with foam in my hand.
What? That's
also, if you're ever fighting a pole arm, ride and slide.
Yeah.
I am the pole arm.
That's true. Quan plays pole.
Pole is my first and favorite weapon.
Your glaive.
It's a Waldo.
Well.
Everybody's like, is that a Naginata or something like that? And I'm like, no. It's a Korean Waldo. It was the first.
Okay, so tip on that. So when I'm doing anti-paladin, my main thing is pole. What I do is I have a small punch shield in my one hand with the pole, and then I have a dagger hanging from my wrist on the other hand. So if somebody does a ride and slide on my pole, I can just flick my wrists, drop on one side, and hit them. So they will come to my dagger, and I will just stab them. So there's not enough time to either let go or try to pull back or retreat.
Yeah.
So having something that's tiny and close, they will not be expecting it, and all of a sudden they'll be too close and won't be able to actually deal with it, especially if they're trying to pin the pole out. Then they're open up, and you're just like, stab.
That's Brilliant. I've been trying to figure out how to hold a dagger while holding my stupid polearm for years. That's great. I've never thought about just putting it on my fucking wrist. What an idiot. Okay. Brilliant. I love it. Is that a good spot to end, or do we need to?
I mean, do you have any other cool advice for fighting? Or I can't think of anything.
You do Paragon Boot Camp. Tell me how I can get this Paragon Monk that I've been trying for since I started this game in 2014.
Come to Paragon Boot Camp.
All right. Check off.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of stuff that we're going to go over in Paragon Boot Camp. We're going to be going over magic, missile, and melee.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be going over teamwork, health and safety. We'll be going over reaving and color and things like that. We're also going to have open coaching. On day one, we're going to have just a bunch of paragons available that you can do one-on-one coaching with, that they can work with you and figure out what your play style is and what works best for you, and give you tips and advice on different types of drills and different ways of strategically using your gear and your abilities. So I definitely advise coming to that. Just gonna
drop
do the thing.
Drop the link below.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Drop the link below.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'd say class embodiment is big. Being recognizable as your class. If you're paragoning one particular class, I definitely advise being pretty strict to playing that class. If you're changing your class like every other game, it'll be hard to have that sort of brand recognition with you. Right, having your garb be suited to that class can help with that sort of visual aspect. I like to say that it should be you should be able to walk on a field with no sash and everyone know what you're playing, being that recognizable to that class and your gear set up in your garb, and that sort of reputation. But other than that, having gear selection and use of it that's going to be best suited to your playstyle, and have most effect with the particular abilities that you're going to have, and strategic use of those abilities, knowing when best to use them, when to hold off, and then also just understanding your role on a team, and focus on the game objective, and how to communicate with your team during that whole process.
So
random tips.
So know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Now I've got my to-do list. Maybe some of our listeners.
When to walk away, you know.
I'm sorry, you said hold somewhere in there, and that's all my brain would say for the next 5 minutes. And I was like,
to me all the time.
This is
all the time.
This is what we're doing now. Well, now I've got my to-do list. I hope some other people have their to-do list. Vidalia might have a to-do list and has taken notes. So
I did take notes.
So I think
yeah. So just a quick recap. All of the class links, and we'll have a link to like the dates for the.
Hey everyone, thanks for
Paragon,
listening. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube or Spotify to get notified about new episodes.
That we
make sure to follow us on Facebook for
that
announcements
has
and more.
Links will be in the description below. So go check out all of that cool stuff. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Admiral. We really appreciated it. And
it's been fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I got to fangirl in person. So thank you.
It has been my honor and my pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Awesome.